Good morning, everybody. This is Jenny Cummings with the Grayson County Health Department, and today I have Miss Tanya with me, Tanya Cockrell, who works with the HANDS program. How are you doing this morning, Tanya?
Great. How are you doing, Jenny?
I'm doing good. Are you glad it's finally fall?
Yes, I'm loving the fall weather.
I am too. I'm ready. I'm always ready for a change in season. I'm glad that we live in Kentucky where we get to experience all the seasons, but I'm always ready for the next one. So I've invited Tanya in this morning because I wanted to record a podcast just letting everyone know about a topic that's very important, which is safe sleep. Because October is SIDS or SUID, Sudden Unexplained Infant Death Syndrome or Sudden Infant Death Syndrome Awareness Month. And so safe sleep and the reduction of SIDS cases kind of go hand in hand. And Tanya, who's worked for the HANDS program for years and has lots of experience with babies and little ones, I thought she would be a great person to bring in and just talk to us a little bit about safe sleep. So we're going to just talk, Tanya, about why safe sleep is important. Do you think some people don't really think a lot about how their baby sleeps?
No, I think when their baby goes to sleep, they just don't even think about it and lay the baby down.
Yeah, and there's a lot to it. And we don't want to make it overcomplicated. There's a simple acronym, ABCD, just like it's easy as ABCD, when it comes to remembering like the key points of safe sleep. And so the first one we're going to talk about today is the letter A, and A stands for what, Tanya?
It stands for alone. So you want to make sure that your baby can stay close but sleep apart.
Okay.
Every baby needs their own safe sleep space.
Right. So co-sleeping is not a good idea.
No.
It's not. And one of the things I think you really have to understand, and moms of little ones will get this, when you think about a newborn baby and you go to hold a newborn baby, the one thing you always try to protect is its head, right?
Yes.
Because babies have terrible head control when they're first born. They wobble around. They're like a little, a bobblehead in a way. They just don't have, think about how big their head is in proportion to the rest of their body. Their neck isn't strong. And so they don't have that ability to lift their head as they need to. They're just not strong enough.
It's not the control that they have yet.
Yes. And so one of the reasons, and this kind of goes along with A and the B we're going to talk about in just a second, but the reason they need to sleep alone, adult mattresses are not made for babies. Why is that, Tanya? What's the difference?
The firmness of it. The texture, a lot of adult bedding has a lot more blankets, a lot more curves, whereas the cribs is the firm.
Yeah. And if you think about it, if a baby is co-sleeping with a parent on an adult mattress, if that baby were to get into the position where it was face down, or if it were to even get where its face is up against some covers or against a pillow or whatever, that baby is not strong enough to move its head necessarily to get it out of that dangerous position.
And also, as parents, sometimes we don't realize how we sleep.
Yeah.
So we take a chance of either rolling over on our baby, that baby's in between me and dad, and say we don't realize it. And then that not only, can that baby not move, but we've just laid on top of that baby.
Right. And I think that's such a good point because sometimes as parents we can think with co-sleeping we're protecting our baby. We're really introducing a dangerous environment to that baby. So yeah, I think that's great to point out because we might think like I'm going to sleep really light. I would never do that. But listen, if you're a mom or a dad and you haven't slept and you're tired, you just don't know. And we think about that as something, how tragic that would be, but it happens.
It does.
It does happen.
And it's scary to think about that could happen to you.
It is. So the next letter we're going to talk about is the letter B. So tell us what B stands for, Tanya.
B stands for back. So your baby needs to be on their back for night, for naps. Anytime they're sleeping, they need to be on their back.
Okay.
This reduces the risk of SIDS. A baby should always sleep on his or her back every single sleep, which counts daytime, nap time, nighttime. The back is just helping. So they have that open space.
They have that open space.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is tummy time's a great thing.
It is. But tummy time is something that as a parent that you watch and you monitor, and it's time restricted. It's not like you would for a nap or a nighttime schedule.
That's a good point. So tummy for play, back for nap. So what if I'm a parent that says my baby has started to roll over some? Like if my baby's rolling over, should I still put it to bed on its back to start out with?
Exactly, yes. And that's something that you can't always control. I know I have some parents in the program that are like, well, my baby rolls over in the middle of the night. And I have some moms that'll wake up and put their baby back on their back because it is the safest way. But always start out on your back.
Yeah.
Because if your baby's strong enough to roll over, then hopefully your baby will be strong enough to roll back,
Right.
But in case some parents do, they're scared. They wake up and they turn them back over because it is the safest way.
Yeah. So just make sure we're getting them started on their back.
Yes.
Okay. That's a good point, because I think that sometimes we think that if they roll over that, well, how do I keep them from that? And I guess what you're saying, Tanya, is that when they're strong enough to roll on their own, we can give them a little bit more freedom, but we just need to get them started on their back.
But as infants, they should always be placed on their back.
Always on their
because
back.
they're not going to be able to roll over in that time frame.
Okay. All right. The next letter we're going to talk about is C, and C stands for what?
Crib.
Crib.
You need a clean, clear crib. I
So
know
there's lots of C's. Clean, clear crib.
Yes, and I know a lot of people love all those cuddly
Yes.
things that they can put in their baby's crib, but it needs to be completely clear. A baby should sleep in his or her crib for every sleep. The crib should only contain your baby sleeping on a firm mattress with a fitted sheet, no stuffed animals, no pillows, no blankets. So you should dress your baby with the environment as it is, with what they should wear to sleep, safe sleep clothes as well, and then put them in their clean, clear crib.
Okay, so like Tanya said, no stuffed animals, no blankets. Babies don't need a pillow. And we're going to put them in their bed without any of those things. And you bring up an interesting point. There's a lot of safe sleep, what's the word? Like clothing.
Clothing,
now.
yes.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what that can look like.
Because some people think about, like, if you put your child, if your child's wore something cutesy all day, then you just put them to sleep.
Yeah.
What's on that material?
Yeah.
So I was always really, really cautious to make sure I had like a sleeper. And there is now a lot of times it has nighttime sleep on the logo.
Yeah.
It'll show that it's safe sleepers for sleep for nighttime.
Yeah.
So really, honestly, you can't be too picky about but you need to make sure your baby's sleeping in something that's that's comfortable, that's safe, that's not going to be like suffocating.
Right. And they make now a lot of those, like, I know, just to bring up one, like there's a Halo sleep sack. Every company makes one now. There's different brands, but it's made basically to put your baby in after you've got their sleeper on, kind of goes over their shoulders, and it zips up like a blanket in the bottom, but it's made where that cannot get up over their head.
Exactly. And a lot of people, it's just a generation of, we want a blanket. Everybody thinks you need a blanket. You need a blanket. So that really helps with the fact of, my baby's going to be cold if you put them in the Halo.
The
sleeper.
Sack. Yeah. Another thing, we talked about not putting things in the crib. We probably need to talk a little bit about what is a safe sleep space. And that is a crib, a pack and play, or a bassinet. So there is a lot of products on the market that are, like, I think of like DockATot. I think of even like things like baby swings and car seats and things like that we might think are good sleep spaces, but really they're not.
No.
Yeah. And the reason that is because, well, one, the surface, when we talked about being alone and on their back, that firm sleep surface. And so a lot of products out there don't have that. But also just knowing that, like, your child is probably going to fall asleep, especially when they're in an infancy. They're going to fall asleep. And I know probably all moms, we've been guilty before. If we bring the baby and we've been to Walmart, the baby's asleep, and we just think, I'm just going to leave it here and let it sleep.
Yes.
When we can watch our baby and it sleeps for a few minutes, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing. But I've heard some parents talk about, they just sleep so good in their car seat. I put the car seat beside my bed and that's where it sleeps. That's not a good sleep area for a baby.
And there you go again, is when you go to sleep, you do not know what's going to happen.
Right.
And so if that baby's not on that firm, clean, clear surface, in that crib, then how do you know something doesn't malfunction with that car seat?
Yeah.
The baby doesn't roll out of the car seat if you don't have the baby,
Yeah.
It's very, very dangerous.
Right. So we want to make sure. And to say all that, we actually have a program here at the health department called Cribs for Kids. It's a great program. We've had a lot of community partners with this program. And basically, if you're out there and you're listening and you think, I don't have a crib, I don't have a bassinet, and I don't have a pack and play. Maybe you're even thinking, I have a crib, but it was my grandmother's crib, or it's old and I don't know if it's even safe. Then all you have to do is call the health department and tell us that you want to talk to somebody about our Cribs for Kids program, and we can actually hook you up with a free pack and play.
Oh yeah, and Jenny has done this program with several of my hands families, and they are all impressed. So I will tell you, this is a wonderful program that we have at the health department. I'm so happy that we're able to give this out to our, families, and just not the hands families, but everybody in our community.
Anybody.
So I really encourage everybody to reach out to us and say, hey, I want a safe place for my baby to sleep.
I've even had caregivers who have maybe mom has a safe sleep space at her house, but grandma keeps the baby during the day and the baby's been sleeping on the couch. I've had grandparents call in, and we have a lot of these cribs, and so if you can just tell us that you need a safe sleep space for your little one, we'll do everything we can to make sure that we provide that for whoever needs that. So we're going to move on now to D. D is for what?
Danger.
Okay.
Be aware and not impaired. A lot of times when we think of D and we think of danger, yes, we've already talked about all the other things, but drinking and drug use impair your ability to care for your baby. So as a parent, we want to make sure that we are aware of our circumstances when we're putting that baby to sleep. Make bed sharing and other unsafe sleep even more dangerous for babies, because sometimes if the parent is impaired or not aware of what they're doing, they may fall asleep on the couch with the baby.
Right.
And then where's the baby end up?
Right.
So we want to make sure that we are aware of everything around us and the danger that could be.
Right. And an impaired caregiver is not a responsible caregiver. And this can look a lot of different ways. This can be the mom who came home from the hospital, excuse me, who had a C-section, who has to take some pain medicine the first few days they're home. And this is just a mom who's like, I know this probably alters my ability a little bit to be able to think. I'm tired. I've just had surgery. And so having someone come alongside you, whether that's the other parent or somebody in your support system, to say, hey, I'm having to take some medicine right now. Could you come over and just stay with me and the baby while I take a nap and while I'm here until I get well enough where I don't have to take this anymore. And then it can go all the way to the other gamut of a parent who knows that they have a substance abuse problem, and they know that they are doing some things that are dangerous, and that does impair them, and just recognizing that. So I'm glad that we talk about that, just to know that an impaired caregiver is not always a responsible caregiver.
Exactly. And also too, with you said, Jenny, that was a good point, is, a lack of sleep. You're a new mom, you are exhausted.
Yeah.
So sometimes when we wake up in the morning, do we know what we're doing? So making sure that you are able physically and mentally to take care of that child. Mm-hmm. It's okay to ask for help.
Yeah, it is. It's okay to ask for help. It's actually a sign of strength to realize, look, I need some help on this.
Oh, yes.
And I want to take just a second while we're talking about needing help and just support systems and things like that, is to really give a plug for the HANDS program. The HANDS program is one that Tanya has worked in for years and years. She's the queen of hands. No. But we have great, Tanya is one of many of our great workers that works with families. And basically it's a program where when you sign up for HANDS, it's voluntary. And they will hook you up with a family support worker who is going to come in contact with you every week, whether that's by phone. Hopefully we're going to get around to being able to do home visits.
Let's
again.
hope.
So, yes. But by now that's by phone, and it's kind of like having your own personal what to expect when you're expecting, or what to expect your first year and even your second year, because they're going to be with you to teach you about things like safe sleep and talk about milestones and things like that. And it is just a great program. It's not based on income. I think that's one of the big misconceptions out in our community, is it's based on income. And we have people from all walks of life who participate in HANDS. But it's just a great program.
Which my child's 16, so I was in the HANDS program.
Oh, that's right. I forget about
16 years ago. So it's really great to have that support person.
Yeah.
Just to know, hey, I'm okay. I got this.
Yeah.
So.
Well, listen, Tanya, it's great having you with us today. If you're out there and you have any questions about safe sleep, I would encourage you to go to our website. There is actually a Safe Sleep link under the Health Academy portion of our website, and there's videos there that talk about safe sleep. If you're interested in the Cribs for Kids program, you can call our number at 270-259-3141, and that's going to be extension 115. So, Tanya, it's been great having you with us.
Thank you for having me today, Jenny.
All right. Well, have a great day.